My name is Danielle Evans. I do lettering in way of food and dimensional typography, and I live in Columbus, Ohio. Columbus is a really amazing city. It's lovely because it's very small, but it's still a metropolitan place. And then you have down here German Village. It's the oldest spot in the city. Walking the streets here is amazing because it's almost like you're stepping back in time. It's very rich and lush and full of great texture. You've got people meticulously gardening here with gorgeous flowers and shrubs. You've got brick-lined streets. All the homes kind of have a similar look to them because they were built at a certain time, so there's a lot of like brick and old wood. And I feel like that's pretty consistent with the way that I like to work. I like texture on texture rather than color on color. My work has become so pervasive in my life that I see those pieces everywhere, and it's just a matter of do I have time to grab them at that moment. I got out of school, my portfolio from college was a photo, a vector illustration, a sculpture, another photo. It was a disaster. And so I spent a lot of time spinning my wheels trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I realized that lettering and the designer-strater community was starting to spring up, which is like this strange midway point between illustration and design. It's almost pointed or directional storytelling. And so I loved that. I thought, well, this is really interesting. Again, let's add these different materials. Let's put this in a physical space so we can tell a greater story. And let's be thoughtful about the materials we choose to say whatever we want to say, because that in turn will also speak. Things became layered like an onion. And so the viewer had an opportunity to buy in at like 3 different levels. Someone who could really absorb it, which would be the ideal viewer. Like, oh, look, this thing is made out of salt. It says something like stay salty. It's, got different things around it that also speak to the piece. The background has something to say about this too. And so it becomes this almost like a fine art painting because you're just injecting everything with tiny little meanings. And so I'm hoping with my work to continue to show people that and elevate the work that I'm making because it is made lovingly one at a time by hand. Being a creative professional is about overcoming the atrophy of inspiration, like just knowing that sometimes you're inspired, you have to haul that away and write it down, and then when you have the opportunity, you have to seize it to get the piece done. You have to dig in every day, and when something is fighting you, you have to decide if you're gonna like walk away from it or if you're gonna commit to it and see it through.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You can tell it's all like tangible objects.
Mm-hmm. I also find that clients are a lot better when they can see the process unfolding in front of them, because then they understand the value of it. It's not like some cheap thing that I can just fix in 5 minutes. They realize it took me a long time. Something I admire about WMC has been their ability to bring in vastly different groups of people. People that have been brought in are very open and very raw with their failures. It kind of reminds us that we're all human and that it's okay to make mistakes. I'm really interested in teaching people to embrace the unknown, the uncertainty of things. You don't often know what is going to be successful and what is going to be a disaster. And so sometimes you just have to do it. It's important for me to foster and create an environment for my students that they feel they can fail with ease. I want to give people principles and guidelines, but I also want to step back a little bit and allow them to find their own path. It's odd now that food type and dimensional type is becoming a thing, so to speak. There are now other people coming in that are trying it, which are really cool, but I see them encouraging me to keep going, some for better, some for worse. And I think it's just neat that now it's a community. It's not just my work anymore, it's a community of people that find this to be interesting and want to unite under that banner. So I continue to run with it in hopes that not only am I inspiring myself, but these people who are like, please keep going, we love your work. It's like, oh, okay, like now I have someone else to kind of test the waters for, and that's a really neat feeling.